Now listen to this. So many people do not know that these people that are occupying the land of Egypt today, the Arabs that are occupying the land of Egypt today, are not the real owners of the land. These are invaders. The real owners of that land were dark-skinned people. Yes, people of sub-Saharan Africa. These Arabs invaded them and drove them away from their native lands. Let me tell you, this Egypt you are hearing today, its original name was Kemet, which means land of black people. That was its original name. And the language spoken there was Egyptian language. Sudan, that is Kush, was also a colony of Kemet. Now, the whole of that region, the North African region that you see Arabs are occupying today, were formerly owned by dark-skinned people, inhabited by dark-skinned people, before Arab invaders invaded them, drove them away from their lands. Now, listen to why I am making this video. I want to create an awareness. These people that call themselves Israelis or Israelites today, they are not the original owners of the land. They are not the original Israelites you read the story in the Bible. They are not. These are Europeans that invaded that land and occupied it. See, let me tell you, the real owners of that land were dark-skinned people, to be honest. The real Israelites were dark-skinned people. Now, check it. If Egyptians were dark-skinned, their neighbors, being Israelis, would also be dark-skinned people. Check all the countries that surrounded Egypt. Ethiopia, Sudan, Libya, and the rest of them, Israel. You see, when you see human beings of the same kind tend to dwell or live together. If you go to Asia, you see Asian people cohabit. If you go to Europe, European people cohabit. If you go to Africa, African people, they cohabit, they function, they live together. Now, let me give you a typical example. The housemaid of biblical Abraham, whose name was Hagar, came from Egypt. So she was a dark-skinned lady, and Abraham slept with her. The wife of Abraham even asked Abraham to sleep with the housemaid, which he did, and they begat Ishmael. So Hagar was an African woman, which means Abraham was an African woman and Sarah was. They were all people of the same kind. The only thing that happened was Europeans disrupted African history. Europeans always want to claim anything good. They want to feel superior. They want to claim that they are God's chosen people. That was why they invaded the land of Canaan and today are claiming to be Israelites. They are not Israelites. The real Israelis are dark-skinned people. Now, the same Europeans invaded North America and chased away the Native Americans. They dealt with them. A lot of them were killed. And that land was occupied by Europeans. Europeans came from Europe. They are not natives to North American countries. The same Europeans invaded Australia, made that place a home. The same Europeans invaded New Zealand, made that place a home. Even they drove away the natives and occupied that land. That is what I'm trying to tell you is these people are invaders. When they invade, they drive away, they kill even the natives of the land and occupy that land and call it their own. See, that was the same thing they wanted to do with South Africa. It lasted 400 years before South Africans and the rest of Africa were able to get their country, their land back. If not, these people wanted to own that land and claim it belonged to them. They invaded South Africa. Even they wanted to do it in Zimbabwe. They own 90%. They owned 90% of the land in Zimbabwe before Robert Mugabe took their land back. So don't believe these their fairy tales, all these their lies, that the people that are dwelling in the land of Israel today are God's chosen people. They are not. That is why you see Americans support them. Because they know that these are Europeans, these are their people. They are not God's chosen people. God's chosen people are dark-skinned people. If you go back in history, if you look back in history, Africans were the first humans that God created. So if Africans were the first humans that God created, that means that, what is it called? What is the name of the place? Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden, that means, is in Africa. That Garden of Eden is in Africa because there is no how God can create humans in a cold weather where snow falls. How are they going to survive? It's practically impossible. So you must know who you are as black people. We are the real people. We owned all these Middle Eastern countries belonged to dark-skinned people before they were invaded. I've traveled. Go to Egypt. There are natives. You still see you still see dark-skinned people in minority. Even in Palestine, there are dark-skinned people, natives, even in Israel that looks like me. But they call them Kush. They call them nigger there. Go verify. Don't understand me? So these Europeans, they always like to use propaganda to make themselves feel superior than others. Anything good, everything good, they like to affiliate with it. That is, that they are the inventors, they are the best. It is not true what they say. Don't always believe what they dish out on their Western media houses. It's all lies. We are the original. Be proud of yourself. My name is Rodi. Follow my page for more interesting videos.